right, it's the Betting and the Break show. I'm Loud Esmond, your host, and I've got some great guest pickers, prognosticators here on the show from the Winners and Whiners Picks and Parlays Network. Also, Scott Keyport, manager of the closest sportsbook to me in Washington State, where I live, joins us from the Little Creek Casino Sportsbook. Hoping to have the Steamroller join us at some point. He said he was going to be on the show, and I know he's just got the link, so when he pops in, he pops in. A couple of updates on the late games that are still going on. The Seahawks are down 3 currently, but driving. The 49ers have lost. Denver Broncos have the Raiders well in hand, and who doesn't? And then the other late game that we've got going on right now, the Rams down by 5, but still with an opportunity to close in that game. All right. So like I said, I'm Loud Esmond. I'm your host. David Delano, great guy, Winners and Whiners, generally all over the leaderboard. However, the guy that's dominating right now but is not here tonight, who's here on Saturday nights, Sniper West doing great. And also Tom Macrina also joins us. David, you're in Texas. Tom, you're back east. Scott, you're close to me. Great to have you all here. David, before we go to the picks for Sunday night and Monday night and talk a little about Thursday night football, we got a little bit of time on this show. Unlike on when we do the college show, we come on at 4:15. We got to get our picks out right away. Because that is going to stick a fork right there in the Seahawks as the Giants are running back a turnover for a touchdown. All right, David, anything stand out to you today? Good wins, bad beats, anything you care to share? Trends you're seeing?
I mean, we've been seeing a lot of the Seahawks and Giants game. We've been seeing a lot of fumbles run back, interceptions run back. We saw a blocked field goal run back in that game with the Cardinals and 49ers. So been seeing a lot of points off of interceptions, a lot of points off of fumbles. It seems like every other game there's something like that, a little bit unconventional, not just the offense is scoring traditionally, and a lot of games coming down to the final couple minutes for the most part. And I'm hoping for a good beat here. I do have the over 48.5 in this Rams and Packers game with about 2 minutes left. So I need a Rams touchdown here. So hoping for a good beat there.
I had the under in the London game this morning of 40.5. The final was 40 points. So woo!
That was another game that had a pick six.
Yes.
There's been a lot of those today.
A lot of scoring, a lot of weird scoring, and that generally is tough on handicappers when you have strange things happen. But how are you doing today, David?
Right now I am even. I'll be ahead if I get this Rams Packers over. And if you got a baseball, I know this is football video. We got a baseball play over there.
No, we're all betting. We're anything you want to bet on. We'll take action on cockroach races.
I like taking the dogs, but I took the Phillies, and they it's been going back and forth. They were just up 6-4 in the bottom of the ninth. The Mets tied it. So last I checked, that was 6-6. Trying to keep up with all these games at a time. So that's been some exciting baseball. And over on the side, I've got a play tonight for the Padres and Dodgers game for those that are looking to bet on some baseball as well. So I've still got
over Winners and Whiners. That's a premium pick of yours on that game. Okay. Tom Macrina, first time on the show. Great to have you. Of course, you're back east. I mean, who could tell you're from Philly with that background? Yeah. So how's it been going for you today? Anything you care to share?
Yeah, I was kind of impressed that after the Dogs have been winning pretty much all season for the beginning of the season, we actually seen a lot of favorites win cover this week. So that's nice to see. Yeah, I've done well. I was on the Vikings this morning, so we cashed that. I was also on Washington Commanders. That one's a cash. I got to play tonight. So we're doing well. Swept yesterday.
So my plays today, I was on the Jets and the under and the Ravens and the Commanders So we had that in common. And then I wasn't so much on the Broncos as I was just betting against the Raiders in that Broncos Raiders game. And we hit that one as well. I'm going to lose this Seahawks game. Put me 4-1 for the day. Scott, what kind of action are you seeing at the book today? Any games that people were betting heavy? Any action that you're seeing in particular?
The point spread money line was kind of all over the place for us. The ones where I could see the real trend, you had a lot of overs coming in today, and that's what people were really betting. They were betting the overs, and the couple of unders, like that New England game, we had people on the under. So people had both the money and the ticket count were both had a really solid opinion on over unders today.
And of course, we're always waiting for that week when the overs explode in the NFL, and it happened last week. I had been on the unders for the first 3 weeks of the season and doing very well, and then they just blew up last week, and I think you're seeing a lot of overs cash today as well. David, Sunday Night Football, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. The Steelers are in a really great position. The Ravens have dropped a couple of games. Cincinnati's 1-4. The Browns are a hot mess. They're terrible. I'm sorry. I know you're from that area originally, and you are a Browns fan, are you not?
Yeah, I am. But I mean, it looks like they're probably on their way to 3-14, 2-15 season the way they're playing right now. I mean, it is what it is.
Is it time to pull Deshaun Watson?
You know, I would like to say that, but I don't think that you can, just because you're paying them so much money in the football sense, the practical sense, and looking at the games. Yeah, you'd like to see what Jameis Winston can do, but with all the money that you have to pay him, if you pull him, there's really no turning back. And then a lot of people are getting fired. So I don't think that they're going to pull the plug right now. I don't see Jameis Winston saving the season. Although I didn't see Flacco saving the season last year. They let Flacco go to the Colts, and the team's a mess, but I think you just kind of got to deal with it.
Well, if there was an over-under number on moving vans in Cleveland at the end of the football season, I'm on the over. Just saying.
And even as a Browns fan, I did take the season win total under 8.5 before the season started. I didn't think that it could possibly be under 3.5.
All right, so Sunday Night Football, do you have any reads you care to share on this Dallas and Pittsburgh game, which, by the way, I believe that number is Pittsburgh minus 2.5 now, opened at 2 with an over-under number of 43.5. If you have any premium plays, obviously you can't share them, but what do you got on this game? Any thoughts?
I'll talk about it because I do have a bet in that game, but I think this has been such a hot topic and a hot game that I ended up doing it as a free pick that I'm personally betting. But I actually like the Cowboys in this spot. I know a lot of people like the Steelers, but the thing with the Steelers, they win and cover. I like them in a lot of spots as underdogs, but they win and cover when the other team can't score. 6 out of the last 7 outright wins for the Steelers have come when their opponents have scored 11 points or less. This Dallas being one of the more prolific offenses, even on the road, I mean, they've over the last couple of years averaging over 24 points a game in those situations. I don't see Dallas being held below 14 points, which seems to be what the Steelers usually need to cover. I don't want to lay any points with the Steelers. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I think that this is a good spot for the Cowboys as a dog. I think the Steelers are a little overvalued, so I'm on Dallas with the plus 2.5.
Tom, your read on Sunday Night Football, if you care to share it.
Yep. So obviously I'm not a Cowboys fan.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, Steelers at 3-1 straight up ATS in their last 4. They covered 6 in their last 7 or their last 8 games. They're coming off their first loss of the season, but that doesn't bother me. They started 3 of their first games on the road. They're back home again. Pittsburgh has the 7th best defense in the NFL. They have TJ Watt who can change a game. They pressure the quarterback. I think they have a value as a non-conference favorite The lack of familiarity benefits the favorite. They're 20-28 ATS as a favorite since 2018. So that's not good, but they are fourth in yards allowed. The Cowboys, on the other hand, 2-7 ATS their last 9. No Parsons, no Lawrence playing. They already have the ninth worst defense in the league. This offense is one-dimensional. Dallas doesn't have a rush defense. They're giving up 26 points per game. I think Pittsburgh's offense is going to be able to run on this team. I think Fields is going to have a good day. Najee Harris as well. I like the Steelers to cover here.
Tom Macrina bringing the statistics and the analysis on the betting in the break show. Okay, so we got a split. We got David is on the Cowboys in this game. Tom is on the Steelers, and we've been joined by the steamroller, the dean of sports betting folks on Winners and Winers, and he joins us here. So, steamroller, do you have a dog in this fight tonight that you can talk about, or is it a premium pick for you tonight?
It is a I don't have a premium play on this, and I can talk about this just a little bit here. I'm gonna side with Tom, and I think this is a game that comes down to a Dallas defense that, like as Tom mentioned, isn't very good to start with, and missing their 2 best players is certainly going to cause major problems against the run. And this is a Pittsburgh team that's tried to get Najee Harris going all season, haven't had a ton of success, but I think this is just that kind of breakout game that Mike Tomlin would love to see him turn the corner and do something besides average 3.4 yards per carry, which is what he's done so far this season. I think this is a Dallas defense that is absolutely ripe for the picking. I like Pittsburgh in a big way here. Maybe even look at a little alternative spread if you didn't want to lay that 2.5. Maybe you want to get a little froggier and lay 5.5 or so for some extra dough. I wouldn't hate that either.
Scott, Keyport Little Creek Casino Sportsbook, what action are you seeing in the real world on this game?
Well, David can come hang out at our sportsbook because we got most of the biggest kind of chunk of money is on the money line on Dallas. So people like that plus money line for Dallas. Point spread, it's kind of even. Ticket count and money count. And then a lot of the money came in on the over again. Lot of overs all day long, which have been cashing. So that's going to be the trend. But yeah, we're going to have some Dallas fans in the book tonight looking for that money line win.
And again, that over-under number is 43.5. So moving on to Monday night, I'm a Saints fan, and I am very worried about this game. I got to tell you, I don't like the idea of the Saints going into Kansas City. I've already told all my friends, don't call me on Monday night, please. I'll be in a very bad mood, probably. Let's go the other way this time. We'll start with you, Steamroller. You got a read here. You want to talk about over, under, prop bet, points, side bet, what?
Well, I did a show on this earlier in the week, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
And to be fair, you are a Kansas City fan, so
I live in Kansas City, so
right.
I'm not one of these Johnny come latelys that lives in like Austin, Texas. Like, oh, I'm a Chiefs fan. It's I come by it naturally, and after 50 years of pain, we're due. That's all I can tell you. We need a few more. But I told somebody earlier in the week that this Kansas City Chiefs team so far this year reminds me of the Black Knight and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You know
right.
what? They signed Hollywood Brown. Oh, he's going to miss the next preseason game. Nope, sorry, out for the season. No problem. We win. Isaiah Pacheco, one of the top 10 running backs in the league. Out the first game. We'll see you later. Yep, no problem. Chiefs still win. How about this hotshot receiver, huh? How about Rashee Rice? Certainly, we could build an offensive. Oh, sorry, he's been taken out by his quarterback. Out for the season. Chiefs still win. I don't know what you have to do to this team. I think the only one that matters if he gets hurt or not is Patrick Mahomes. They seem to be able to just plug in pieces and take care of business. I've picked against the Chiefs the last 2 weeks. I've learned my lesson. I still think they're due for a flat spot. I really do. This is a team that inexplicably just plays flat spot games against teams that they don't have a rivalry with, that don't mean a whole lot. And I still say one of those are coming, but I'm not picking it this week. I'm going to have to go with the hometown heroes there on Monday night to cover the 5.5.
All right, so that's Kansas City minus 5.5 for you, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, actually, those injuries are kind of concerning to me. They're your two best red zone guys. The Saints have the Saints hold teams to 22% success rate in the red zone for touchdowns. 5 of 11 in touchdown rate in the red zone this season. The Saints, I don't know. They scored 40 in each of their first 2 games, only 36 the last 2, but I think they're going to get back to that. Their losses were a combined 5 points, so this 5.5 looks pretty good to me. They're 35 and 18 ATS on the road since 2018, 66%, 26 and 17 ATS coming off a loss. On Monday Night Football, non-conference opponent, the home team is only 12, 32, and 2 ATS. That's 27.3%. Also, the team with the better record on Monday Night Football in the last 63 is 21, 40, and 2 ATS.
Wow.
Right, also, I got one more. Hold on. I got one more.
Okay.
Teams going on a bye playing on Monday Night Football. If you fade them, you are 27 and 17 ATS since 1996. So those teams playing on Monday night are already on their bye week.
All right, Tom, again, bringing the deep research. And you're coming down where? Saints plus the 5.5?
Yeah, I like the Saints plus 5.5, slight lean to the over.
David, you're our tiebreaker.
Yeah, Tom made a point about a lot of favorites getting it done today, but 2 of the biggest favorites did not, actually lost outright, the 49ers and the Seahawks. I'm not so sure that the Chiefs lose outright, but that 5.5, I think that there's a value on the Saints. Some of these games are so tight. I think I mentioned earlier when I did with Sky, and this just could seem like a 24-20 game to me or something like that. I'm not saying it's going to be way off, but I think that the Saints find a way to get the cover. So I'm on the Saints plus 5.5.
Yeah, I lean with you there, David, because Derek Carr is the king of the horrifying, mystifying, awful last-second loss. It's a signature of his and of the Saints. So, I see this being the Saints have hope. The Saints have hope the whole game. And then in the last 90 seconds, Patrick Mahomes takes Kansas City down and gets whatever score they need to beat them by 2. I mean, that's kind of how I see this playing out. Scott, do you have any action on Monday Night Football yet to speak of?
Yeah, we do. A good amount on the over again. And then for us, from a sportsbook perspective, which is a little bit different, we're probably going to need the Saints, and that has to do with parlays. People are building out their parlays, and they get down to the end of that. They want that 7th, 8th game, and then they see this. This season they're going to see the Chiefs, and they're going to throw that on the end of the ticket. The Saints haven't proven enough yet for a lot of people that are building out those parlays. So from a sports book perspective, we're going to probably need the Saints pretty big to kill off some of those parlays. But the action that we have is on the Chiefs covering the point spread on the money line and then the over.
Okay. All right. Good to know. We're just about out of time. I want to do a quick lightning round on the 49ers and the Seahawks. The 49ers going to the Seahawks. Both teams lost today. The 49ers, last second, horrible way that they went down. The Seahawks looked pretty bad the whole game against the Giants. Start with you, Tom. Early thoughts on that game?
Yeah, just looking at it, I think the 3 is pretty telling. I think San Francisco's the play here. Seattle looked impressive earlier in the season, but they didn't really play anybody. These last 2 games, Detroit, they look good offensively, but against this Giants team, they really didn't, nor did they look good defensively. I think San Francisco is the way to go here. I also like the over. San Francisco seems to score a lot of points against the Seahawks.
Steamroller.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Seattle team really showed me something today, and not in a good way. I really thought they'd come out strong against this Giants team that was missing their two best offensive players, and yet the Giants were plug and play and ran up and down the field against Seattle. Seattle really couldn't get out of their own way at all. And San Francisco has proved to be another resilient team like Kansas City, despite suffering, devastating injuries to some of their best players. They've been able to keep it going and keep rolling along for the most part. And they did kind of fall apart late there. I believe that's the first game that they've lost where they've had a 10-point lead in the first quarter, regular season game in whatever, or 80-0 or whatever ridiculous number it was. So some history was made today against the Niners, but I think this is a Niners team that is far superior. I think that Seattle defense, I think their early season success has been exposed the last couple of weeks by the Lions, which, okay, you can forgive that, but against the Giants, absolutely not. Any team that gets beat up like that by the Giants deserves no respect from me, and they're not getting it next Monday.
David, Thursday Night Football, the 49ers travel to the Seahawks. Thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I'd love to come up with some contrarian lone wolf stuff, but I really can't. The way the 49ers lost today, now the 49ers, I believe, 2-3, and they play the Chiefs after this game against the Seahawks, so they really need this game. It's hard to see them dropping it. And Scott mentioned just not impressive from the Seahawks today. The first drive for the Giants were on the 1-yard line, 4th and goal, fumble the ball. The Seahawks run it back 100 yards. They went up 7-0 that way and still got beat by the Giants by 9 points. So it could have been even a lot worse than that. So I'm on the this is early first thoughts, but I'm thinking 49ers is going to be the play.
All right, so we've got a split decision, but in favor of Pittsburgh -2.5. We have on the Monday night game, mostly people believing the Saints are going to cover and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win. Early read on the Thursday night game, which is 49ers -3, seems to be unanimous that everybody is on the 49ers. All right, thanks, everybody. It's great to have a big crowd of great prognosticators and pickers from Winners and Whiners and Picks and Parlays here on the Betting in the Break show. Really appreciate it. Scott Keyport, Little Creek Casino. I've got to come out and see you tomorrow because I've got some tickets to cash.
We'll get extra cash for you.
If we got 30 seconds, I got a question for Scott. Scott, I know a lot of times people will talk about like the money being on the overs, and I know you had some situations like today where you have the Patriots and the Dolphins, right? People on the under, but for the most part, I would think, don't the overs probably have most of the money about 70% of the time?
People love
what's your take?
Yeah, definitely. And that's where we look at the ticket count versus the actual money. But yeah, people love the overs. You almost, you can keep pushing those up a little bit and a little bit. People they like everyone wants to believe their team's going to score. It's hard for people to feel good about the unders. But yeah, and that's why especially when you start to see money coming in on the under, even though the ticket count is usually on the over, that can really kind of tell you something.
So Jay Boak, Boek, just sent a comment into the show. He said, NFL is tough to bet. I'll stick with college betting, smiley face. And that I can agree with. Absolutely.
Yep. Vanderbilt every week. This has been Betting in the Break. We are here 4:15 Pacific time, 7:15 East, every Saturday and Sunday night, helping you get right. And I'm Loud Esmond. Thanks for everybody else for being here. We will see you next Saturday. Same time, same place, same channel. Woo!